Now, it is an insecticide that is highly toxic to humans, and it was used for 2 decades on banana plantations in the French West Indies. Victims' associations have tried to bring a case to court, seeking to understand why the French government continued to authorise the use of that insecticide, even though it was known for years to be dangerous. Well, initially, a court refused to hear the trial, and today, another appeals court issued the same decision, refusing to hear the case. Joining me to talk about this, Shirli Sitbon from our news desk. Hello, Shirli.
Hello, Nadia.
You've been looking into this today, so just explain to us then why the judges say they won't hear this trial.
Yes, we've been following this for many years because the complaints were issued 20 years ago.
Wow.
So they say that it's difficult to hold criminally responsible people with tangible proof when the events happened such a long time ago, decades ago. So it was between 1972 and 1993 that this very toxic insecticide was used in Martinique, Guadeloupe. But it was banned in mainland France in 1990 and still used on those islands, in those parts of France after that. Why? That was the question of victims' families. And you have to see what happened at the time. Many countries had banned this insecticide. In the U.S., which produced this insecticide, in 1975, they stopped producing it because the workers who produced it started shaking. It had a terrible effect on their nervous system. They had pain. So the Americans immediately decided to not immediately, but quite quickly, decided to stop producing this and using this. They shut down the nearby rivers, banned fishing there because they knew everything was toxic. But in Martinique and in Guadeloupe, the French continued to use this. The workers had to use this insecticide called chlordécone in English. So the question is, why did the authorities not hear all of the warnings from across the world?
Yeah, and that question still remains open then, Shirley. People are really shocked by this, and now victims, having been denied having their case heard in court today, are considering bringing a case to the highest court in France.
Yes, and there are also other proceedings, because I talked to one lawyer today who says that she's quite pessimistic, but she thinks that they should focus on trying to get some financial support for the victims, the people who are sick, because this insecticide contains the ground for 600 years. It doesn't leave before. 90% of the people in Martinique and Guadeloupe are infected by this. So it affects the nervous system, reproduction, the hormone system, the functioning of organs, liver, kidney, heart, and it causes prostate cancer. And in Guadeloupe, there is the highest rate in the world of prostate cancer, largely because of this. And they say this isn't over. They want to know why. And they're asking questions. They're saying, are we turning a blind eye on something that's a crime of colonial times, of perhaps racist crimes? Because what would explain the situation? Of course, there were the exporters' lobbies who pushed and pressed the French lawmakers to keep this legal because they wanted to continue producing and selling bananas. So they managed to get this exception for this region, but the victims really want to get answers. They didn't want to go further in weeks to come.